You are now live on air.
Wow. I don't know where you get some of this intro music, but it never corresponds to anything that I want to talk about. I mean, seriously. It's like some band on LSD got together and you recorded it, and that's what you use for an intro music.
It's like sex music, isn't it? It's like kind of animalistic.
Yeah, explosion.
It's like sex music.
I do have a question for tonight.
It's 1 hour parking, folks, because you only have 1 hour to park, and guess what happens, Dennis? Your ass gets towed. Go ahead, ask. You have a question for me?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Badass. We're going to get a break here. What's your question for me?
Well, it has to do with a TV show. I know you've seen it. We've even mentioned the name a couple times, but
Sons of Anarchy?
No. Old TV show.
Walking Dead?
Old TV show.
All right. Rockford Files?
No.
Getting
It
close?
involves a boat.
The Love Boat. I love it.
No.
Captain Steubing.
No.
Okay.
Gilligan's Island.
Oh, shit. Oh, God.
Well, there's several things that whole program I question.
Okay, so before we get started here, let's get our minds wrapped around the equation that's going to happen. So there's things that you find inconsistent or devious or dastardly or satanic or bizarre.
Love.
Oh, everything?
Just about everything.
Okay, fire away by all means, my friend.
Well, let's just take, for example, the professor.
Why do we got to start with the fucking professor?
Well, because that's where I wanted to start it.
Okay. Oh, by all means, go ahead.
I mean, we could talk about the captain and his little buddy.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Start with the professor. I'm all ears.
Well, here's this guy that, got on a boat with them all, and he's such a learned individual. He, MIT has wanted him for years to come there and be a professor because of his brilliance. The guy can take and create a radio receiver out of a bunch of wires and a piece of rock, and he takes a coconut and makes a battery, but he can't figure out how to patch a fucking hole in the side of the boat so they can get out of there.
My thing here, all right, so if we're going to go on the professor, here's my biggest problem with the professor, okay? Why was he on the boat? Like, what was his need to be on the boat? Did he just go for a relaxation tour?
He saw Mary Ann get on the boat.
Well, that's been...
All through that entire show, he wanted to plug Mary Ann just so bad he could taste it.
But here's the thing.
He used to chew on little pieces of fish just to imitate.
The guy is a genius, yet he can't figure out how to get in Mary Ann's pants.
Oh, not at all.
But I tell you right now, and I don't want to jump ship on you here, no pun intended, and I'll let you go back to your rant, but dimes to donuts. I bet the farm, Gilligan could have gotten her pants easily. Easily he could have. But anyway, go ahead. So your beef with the professor.
Well, I mean, he creates all these things on the island. Of course, making a compass is pretty easy.
Wait a minute. Whoa. It's easy. What the hell you mean? How the fuck's it easy?
Well, almost every island's got lodestones, and you can create a compass.
Really?
Yeah.
enlighten me here, because I've never heard of making a compass. We call them compass here, but go ahead. How do you do it?
Well, simply take a lodestone, which is magnetic.
Did you say lodestone?
Yeah, Lode, lodestone.
Not LOAD.
No.
Okay.
No.
Just want to be clear on this.
Like the load he wanted to give Marianne.
All right, no, go ahead. Anyway, so take a lodestone. Go ahead.
Okay, and chip it off just like you were going to be making an arrowhead.
Okay.
And create an arrow. Or just a long sliver of which you could use various plants and paint a little color on one end of it.
Okay.
And it'll point north and south.
Okay, I'm with you. So back to your...
Well, compass is easy. Plus, you can make a compass with 3 sticks.
All right, so back to your...
Sticks in the ground.
Back to your hard-on or aggravation with the professor.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? What's your beef with him?
He couldn't figure out, with all his knowledge, how to patch a 3-foot hole in a damn boat so they could get off there.
Well, I think they did. They made a wacky glue, didn't they? They took some kind of wacky substance he made and made it glue, didn't they? And it didn't work. Oh, it held, but when it got in the water, it fell apart. Or something to that equation. So it was,
but still, he should have been able to figure out how to patch the damn boat. Or the captain should have been able to figure out how to patch the damn boot.
Well, you got to remember...
His mind was on his little buddy.
Well...
I mean, he dragged him by the ear every night into the hut. Come on, little buddy, it's time to go to bed.
I find it funny. Well, did the girls have the same... I think... Well, that kind of makes sense. The girls had the same hut. Thurston Howell and his wife had the same hut. The professor was by himself. Why did Gilligan and the skipper need to have the same hut? Was it necessary? Like they couldn't have built an extra hut for Gilligan?
Well, but then Gilligan wouldn't have been close at hand.
So he was more than a deck. He was more
than just the first mate.
He was a deckhand. Deckhand.
Well, look at the professor. You've seen that one episode where he was making cream, supposedly for the girls for sunscreen, but it was for old Skipper and little buddy.
They use coconut cream for that, Dennis. It's very lubricant.
Well, they had a lot of coconut.
Yeah, they had the professor.
And look at Wrong Way. He kept landing on the island, but he could find the damn island, but he never could find the mainland to tell him where they were at.
Well, no, he always found the island, but he could never find it again. Or did he forget to tell people where the hell they were? The thing that fucks me up in this whole equation is they're on the island. People are visiting the island. Nobody tells. Like, nobody says there's 7. Was it 7? I think it was 7 stranded castaways on this island. What is this like? It's again like fucking Fantasy Island. Like nobody knows where this place. It's like Lost.
Lost. I was just gonna say that.
Let's kind of think of Gilligan's Island like Lost. Were they dead? No, obviously not. Because remember that one episode at the end, they made it back to mainland, and here we go. Here's how stupid these assholes are. They go back out on the boat again and get caught in the same storm.
Yep.
Wind up back on the same island, and here's how fucking stupid they are. They can't even realize they're on the same fucking island that they just left a week before. Well, those look like our huts. I wonder if they're our huts. Well, doesn't take much brain power. You don't have to be Columbo to figure that shit out. Just go in and see if your shit's still there. That was a whole shanty.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gilligan's bed had little Buddy's bed carved into the headboard.
No, it had his forehead notched into the side of it from the professor or the skipper wailing him into it every night.
And the other thing is like Thurston Howell III and his wife.
Yeah, what's his story?
A super rich couple.
Get on a shitty little boat. Like, what was that all about? Like, the equation doesn't add up. Marianne was a farm girl from the Midwest. Ginger was, hey, here's a better one than Thurston Howell. Ginger was a Hollywood movie star. What in the fuck was she doing on that little boat? What was everybody like?
It doesn't make sense.
Was everybody dropping shroom?
And then again, when you remember that she was the atypical dumb blonde Hollywood movie star.
I don't think she was blonde. I think she was a redhead.
Well, she could have been redhead, but
She was a dingbat.
dumber
Either
than a
way.
box of rocks.
She was a dingbat.
You know.
I just don't. Okay, let me just go past the fact that everybody's on the boat. Okay, we're all on the boat. We landed on this island. In the first season, if you remember, the boat didn't look that bad. There was a hole on the side.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. Let's get further down the line. Let's get to where it went from black and white to color. The boat go. What happened to the minnow? They never used the wood to build foundations because they built it out of thatch and first of all, there's no bamboo on the fucking island. Where'd they get the bamboo to make the huts? But anyway, back to the minnow. Where did the minnow go? And then years later, it kind of appears again. Like they refound it. Are they fucking stupid? They lost the boat, found the boat, got off the island, came back to the island, didn't know that was the same island they've been on for, 10 years or so?
I don't know how many years.
Then Gilligan finds a gorilla. They've been on the island for 5 years. They never knew there was gorillas there. I never saw one headhunter. They talked about him the whole fucking time.
Well, and then there was that guy that swam there that was some kind of...
Mark Spitz or whatever his name was.
He was a dumbass, and he was going to swim off the island and tell everybody. And
how do you swim to the mainland? It's infested with sharks. He probably got swallowed by one.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship.
Tiny ship.
The mate was a mighty sailing.
The mate.
Five passengers set sail.
First of all, let's rewind. The mate was a mighty sailing man. Gilligan couldn't find his asshole from a hole in the wall. If you remember, he fucked up everything on the island. How is he a mighty sailing man? Was he good in the ocean and not good on the land? Was he stupid on land and a genius in the water? He fucked up on the raft going back. Remember he dropped the anchor and lost it? So how's he a mighty sailing man? Let's see how much more nonsense they say.
3-hour tour.
The weather started getting up. I always had a problem with that one. The weather started... Where'd it go? It was down. It was depressed, and then it got up. It got all excited. Like, what the fuck is going on? The weather's got a mood now. It was down. Now it's up.
Well,
the weather started getting up. What it was... First it was down. Then it got up. Hold on. We got to hear more of this.
Was tossed, if not for the courage of the
Tossed. It was thrown on a fucking desert island with nothing on it.
fearless crew, the minnow would be lost.
Wait, if not for the something of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. It was lost for 10 fucking years. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. Well, when you're on an island that's nowhere near mainland and you can't get off and go home, guess what? I got an eye-opener for you. You're fucking lost.
The minnow would be lost.
It was lost, you dumb fuck.
The ship set ground on the shore of this uncharted net.
Set ground. It crashed into a rock and had a big fucking hole out of it, the size of Texas.
Desert Isle with Gilligan, the skipper too. A millionaire.
A millionaire on the tiny little ship when the weather did get up.
And his wife,
The movie star. Diddle-diddle.
movie star. The professor and Mary Ann here on Gilligan's Isle.
Gilligan's Isle. They don't say island. They say Isle. Gilligan's Isle. Listen. Hold on. Everybody debates me on this one. They don't say island. They say Isle. Listen.
On Gilligan's Isle.
yeah,
Isle.
So this is the tale of our castaways. They're here for a long, long time.
Now, how do you know they're there for a long, long time? And what's a long, long time? 10 years? Fucking Nostradamus has written this song.
They'll have to make the best of things. It's an uphill climb.
It's an uphill climb. There's only one fucking mountain on the island, and it's got that gorilla on it that they didn't know for 5 fucking years.
The first mate and his skipper too will do their very best to make the others comfortable in the tropic island nest.
Tropic island nest? Is that what he just said? Nest? What are they, birds ravening around the island, for Christ's sake?
No phone, no light, no motor car.
No shit. That's what they should have said. No planes, no boats, no motor cars, no shit. You're on a deserted island, Columbo.
Well, the Japanese did show up there one
Like
time.
Robinson Crusoe, it's primitive as can be. So join us here each week, my friends. You're sure to get a smile from 7 stranded castaways here on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, they did say island on the end. Listen, they did say island.
Get a smile from 7 stranded castaways here on Gilligan's Island.
Well, it
Yep.
still sounded like isle, and the drum was. It's all wrong, the song. It's not. It didn't set shore. It crashed.
What was the skipper's full name?
I don't
They
know.
only said it in the opening episode. That's a good trivia question.
Beats the shit out of me.
Jonas Grumby.
Oh, I do remember that. He was grumpy as hell anyway. Grumby or grumpy?
Grumby. Grumby. And you know, he supposedly was in the Navy in World War II with the 7th Fleet in the area around Guadalcanal. Supposed to know what the hell he's doing.
Well, the mate was a mighty sailing man, Dennis. The whole song's a bunch of shit. Gilligan's a mighty sailing man. He's the size of a beanpole.
Yeah, and his best friend was Skinny Mulligan.
Oh, that went on the whole time. Hey, isn't it funny that, think about it, what was that show when he came back with the little, remember when before Gilligan's Island, wasn't that Gilligan? What was his name when he played that little, he had the little beatnik thing going on? Remember?
Oh, that's Dobie Gillis show.
Dobie Gillis. I think Mulligan. Same
Yeah,
thing.
that's Dobie Gillis show, and that was Bob Denver that played the beatnik.
Yes, Gilligan. How do you ever get away from that part? Do you think he ever...
They canceled the show.
Well, I mean, he said later on in life, there's no way he could ever do any other parts. He would always be Gilligan. Like, you can't look at him doing, like, a drama series that's all serious and look at Bob Denver playing that part and go, oh, that's a serious kill. Everybody's going, it's fucking Gilligan. Like, what's he going to
Well,
do?
that'd be like sticking him on Sons of Anarchy.
I know. It's like, here's a fearsome biker. Like, guess what? It's Gilligan. What's he going to do? Is he going to drop a pan? Break a spark plug?
He probably would. He messed everything up on the island.
He shits up everything he does. Everything he turns into, he touches, turns into a catastrophe. Could you see him on Sons of Anarchy? Like Jack's telling him to go out and do something, like go out and take care of this problem. He'd get lost along the way. He'd like get lost getting there. He'd fuck the whole equation up. He would drop the gun, shoot the wrong person. Like, it'd be a total mess. He'd go back to Jackson and go, Jackson would go, what's going on? I go, I have no idea. I dropped the gun and it just exploded. And then Jackson would be like, fuck this guy.
Well, I wonder throughout the entire series, because I'd like to see the number, how many times the skipper hit him in the head with his hat. Remember, he was always batting him in the head with his hat.
Gilligan.
He must have hit him 100 times.
Drop
Probably
Gilligan.
made him foolish.
Drop Gilligan into The Walking Dead. Could you see Bob Denver on The Walking Dead? Could you take him seriously? They'd be like, okay, everybody, look, got a plan. I'm going to get us out of this building and into the next complex where it's safe. Everybody's going, don't listen to what he's saying. It's fucking Gilligan. He's going to screw the whole thing up. He's going to get us into a patch of zombies and get us eaten. Nobody's going to take Bob Denver seriously after Gilligan. He was a bumble. He just shitted up everything he touched. Remember when they finally got the communication line to Honolulu, and the professor got the lines on, and then it was raining or something, and Gilligan thought he was going to do some kind of heroic act, and protect it. And he wound up dropping the whole thing or some nonsense. He shitted everything up.
Well, I mean, when the cable got washed up on shore.
Yeah, and then the professor made this communication thing, and he had it all set up with the coconut headphones. Well, Gilligan, he fucked everything up. It was every time something went right, Gilligan was there to throw it into the shithouse. Gilligan is nothing but a problem. They should have drowned him. And then, wait a minute, hold on. The mate was a mighty sailing man. What mighty sailing man is this? He couldn't even hold a gun and do what Jax told him in Sons of Anarchy. Fuck that up, too.
He tried to row with just one oar and couldn't figure out why he's going around in circles.
And that lagoon, that lagoon was there, and then it wasn't there. Like, it was never there in the first Gilligan Island, like the black and white ones. But then the lagoon...
Ginger wasn't there in the first Gilligan Island.
No, she was there.
No. Kit Smith was there.
Well, it was Ginger. There was still a Ginger.
Pilot episode. The name Ginger was there, but the girl who ended up playing Ginger was not in the pilot episode. It was another gal.
Well, I think the first... Yeah, there was a different Ginger, yeah. But it was still Ginger.
You know, she... the gal that finally ended up playing Ginger, she refused to go back for the post-series of Gilligan's Island because she said the show ruined her damn career as an actress.
It ruined everybody's career. I'm telling you right now, especially Gilligan. Like I said, drop Gilligan in any show. Could you see Gilligan doing a surprise appearance on, I'm trying to think of something, the A-Team at that time, or like the Dukes of Hazzard? I mean, I'm thinking of that same period. It's a joke. It's Bob Dem's Gilligan.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to...
It was actor suicide for any of them. Well, I guess, maybe nobody really paid attention to, Thurston Howell's wife, Lovey. What was her real name, anyway?
Who?
What was her name on the show, Thurston Howell's wife? Everybody called her Lovey. Mrs. Howell. What was her real name?
Natalie Schaefer.
No, but what was her real name on the show? What was her name? Not Mrs. Howell. Did she have a name?
Oh, yeah, Eunice Lovell Wentworth Howell.
Come again?
Eunice Lovell Wentworth Howell.
No shit why they called her Mrs. Howell. I said that and, I'd have had to take 3 or 4 breaths to say it. And what was his name? Oh, Thurston, that's right. He was thirsting after Mary Ann, I can tell you that right now. Actually, I think he liked Ginger.
She had it written into her contract there'd be no close-ups of her because of her age. She was 63.
She looked pretty good, though.
The only reason she accepted the role was because the pilot was filmed on location in Hawaii. She looked at it it was nothing more than a free vacation, as she was convinced that the show was silly and would never go anywhere.
Well, it went everywhere. and it made episodes and reruns, and it did better in the reruns than it did in the live show. Well, the main show, not live, but the original series. Just a lot of holes in that story, Dennis. A lot of holes in that theme song. Everybody on that ship. I don't know. I'm glad you brought this up because it's a topic we haven't talked about in a while, but we made new headway with it. And then
we got in a little bit more serious aspects of it.
Well, then the wacky, visitors. How did Don Rickles appear? Was he Don Rickles when he showed up on there? Or was he not Don Rickles? I'm confused. I can't remember. Was he Don Rickles, or was he, a character actor?
I'm not sure. Be honest with you.
Well, see if you could look it up. See, I'm wondering if he was Don Rickles when he landed there. Was he Don Rickles, the performer that got lost somehow? Who the hell wants Don Rickles to show up on a deserted island? You want what's her name? Kardashian. I want Kim Kardashian to wash up on the island. Don Rickles? Who the fuck wants Don? All he'll do is heckle you the whole time. Oh, I see you haven't gotten off the island in a while. You can't figure that one out? He's just a
Josh
ball buster.
Gabor was on there twice.
But while we're on the subject of it, Dennis, help me out here. What is there any entertaining aspect of Don Rickles? Really? I mean, he's a comedian that looks like my busted middle knuckle. He looks like he's not funny. Has he ever been humorous to anybody?
I was never a fan of Don Rickles.
Is anybody? Like, I think Frank Sinatra got him his start. Well and fine. But it's like Don Rickles is not... He just gets on stage and busts people's balls.
Don Rickles' character was Norbert Wiley, a kidnapper.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he was a kidnapper. So let's run this down for a minute. We've got Don Rickles, who I do not think is funny. We had...
Joshua Gabor.
Joshua Gabor. We had another one. Kurt Russell was on there. There was another one. What's his name? Did Dean Martin wind up on the island?
Don't know.
As a volare, va-la-la-la. What was it? Said the other night, take a walk with your favorite girl. Dean would have washed up on the island, and when he landed, he would have had a drink in one hand, and his cigarette would have still been lit. He would have came out of the water soaking wet with a lit cigarette and a martini. So Gilligan.
Remember the Mosquitoes?
Oh, the Mosquitoes, yeah.
Split up?
Gilligan's favorite band. Didn't they perform there with no instruments? Or
Yeah.
did they? Oh, no, they had instruments. Somehow they had all their instruments and they performed. Remember Gilligan
I think
bopping his head?
Professor made guitar strings out of pubic hair for him.
Well, I think it would have been pretty easy at that time because where was the shaving implements? I guess the professor might have made those two out of shells. Everybody was clean shaven too. Remember that? Nobody had a beard. Nobody. Although I think Gilligan grew one at one time. I seem to remember.
I suppose they use oyster shells.
Yeah, that works real well. Try that.
And of course, the professor would have made some kind of a oil, so it
Well, you
wouldn't
could.
scrape their skin.
You could easily use coconut oil for that. That would have worked out. You could compress coconut. Listen to me, all scientific and shit. But it's like, try shaving your face with an oyster shell. You look like the Barbara Seville just got done with you when you're finished.
Kind of interesting that Gilligan's first name on the show was Willie.
What?
Willie Gilligan. Gilligan was his last name.
That's-
Willie was his first name.
That is stupid as ass. His name was William Gilligan?
No, Willie. Not William, Willie.
Had to be William. Christ, he did. Okay, so let's just say a lot of great novels were written by Willie Shakespeare. Come on.
Well, that's William. That's called William Shakespeare. He was never called by a proper name, only Willie.
He didn't deserve a proper name. He was a bumble. Dropped everything and screwed everything up. I tell you, I'm sorry you even got on this subject. Because I'll tell you right now, there isn't anything I'm thinking of. I used to like the show, but I'm starting to find a lot of faults with it. You know, when you're a kid watching the show, you don't put two and two together. Now that I'm a fucking mathematician, I'm starting to figure out the equation, and it ain't adding up.
Well, it's funny, those characters died 1 year apart.
Well, I think
Backus
the last
in 89, Alan Hale, which was the skipper, in 90, Natalie Schaefer in 91.
I think the last one was either Marianne or Gilligan.
Well, Gilligan in 2005.
He's the last one. Maybe Marianne was the last one. I think Marianne was the last one.
Oh, my God.
Some's still alive. I know, one's still alive. right?
Here's a picture of the cast, basically without makeup, in their older years.
I don't want to see this.
This is interesting.
Horrible?
Horrible.
Is it scary?
Looks like Halloween.
I don't want to. I can't see it, so. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me move the web phone. Oh my God. Wait, I got to blow this up.
I mean, Mrs. Howell on the far right, she looks dead.
Who the hell is that in the middle? Is that the creator? Oh, Sherwood Schwartz. Where the hell's Gilligan? Where's Gilligan?
Is that him just to the
No.
left of...
That's Sherwood Schwartz. And that's the professor. It's the skipper, professor, Mary Ann, Sherwood Schwartz, Thurston Howell, and Mrs. Howell. Where the hell's Gilligan?
I don't know. Maybe he's under the table.
Probably late for a call. Take that off. That's disturbing in the worst way. I don't even want to see your screen anymore. I'm sick
I
with
just want
it.
to see if there was any pictures.
There's no other pictures. I don't want to see him. The whole thing's a complete nightmare. Just ruined every ounce of my sick days off from school watching Gilligan's Island. That went right in this shit can. Oh, David, you're not feeling good? I'll set you up with your favorite show and some chicken soup. I can see my mother now turning it on. I'd sit there like an asshole watching it for hours. No idea how I was being bamboozled the whole time.
Well, it's really surprising in a way that it lasted as long as it did.
Well, I think it was the slap comedy. Like, there was a lot of that. Like you said,
It was almost like vaudeville on film.
Yeah, it was like the skipper hitting Gilligan. And I think just like Lost, the show Lost, I think the constant tuning in every week was to see if they were going to get off the island. Like, let's compare.
Or what was going to happen next. And
Let's compare these apples and oranges, okay? Let's put Gilligan up against Jack on Lost. Not really all that different, if you think about it. Jack was more suave. Okay, hear me out before you go and make an assessment. Jack was suave, attractive. Women liked him.
a doctor.
He was a doctor. He was successful. But everything he did, he fucked everything up. Think about it. He
Wasn't really a leader, and he didn't want to be the leader.
But think about what he did. Everything he did, he just did it. He didn't ask. He didn't take a vote. He just did it and assumed it was the right thing to do. Now, let's flash to Gilligan. Not that attractive, not successful. He's a complete horse's ass. But, like Jack, he did what he thought was the right thing to do. He never consulted anybody. He just did. So Jack and Gilligan, not that different, Dennis.
Well, in some respects, I agree.
There's a complete comparison to the two. So now let's try to find the skipper. Kate is the skipper, if you think about it, because she controlled Jack. She kind of, if he screwed up, she'd get mad at him. She didn't hit him with the hat. She just got mad at him and she maneuvered. Well, she maneuvered him. She maneuvered him by her actions. Yeah, she was hot. She was a piece of ass. The skipper wasn't. But think about it. The main character was Gilligan. The main character was Jack.
Well, I suppose Jack Sawyer would have been a professor.
Exactly. Because he read a lot. He came up with all these intuitive ideas like, let's do this, let's do that. He had these kind of like insight. He wasn't as clever as the professor, but Jack Sawyer was kind of like, Sawyer was his name. That's right. Sawyer was like the medium between the skipper and the professor. In this case, between Jack and Kate. So if you think about Jack and Kate and the professor and Gilligan, skipper and Gilligan, I'm sorry. If Gilligan screwed up, the professor got mad at him. Remember, think about this. Now, this is really getting serious Gilligan's Island philosophy. if you think about it, when Gilligan screwed up, the professor got mad at him. Remember a couple of times he didn't let him sleep in the hut? And then the Gilligan was upset that the skipper was mad at him? Think about it. When Jack screwed up, Kate got mad at him and wouldn't let him talk to her or get close to her. So she kind of maneuvered Jack. The professor, or damn it, the skipper maneuvered Gilligan. And Sawyer was always in the middle. If something happened, he'd kind of smooth it over. Think about the professor.
See, I kind of looked at John Locke and Charlie as the professor and Gilligan.
Well, I think John Locke, yeah, you're right. John Locke was a better professor than Sawyer. John Locke was the professor. Because yeah, you're right. Thinking about it, I'm wrong. See,
and Charlie couldn't do anything right either.
Well, Charlie was a complete bumble. He was like the Gilligan antithesis. He was like the Jack Gilligan. But Charlie doesn't equate here because he was nonsense. But you're right. Locke was the professor because when shit went bad between Jack and Kate, he tried to kind of stick his nose in the middle of it. And Sawyer did too.
And he had all this book experience.
Right, like the professor.
Like the professor.
Think about it. Did they watch Gilligan's Island? Were they influenced by Gilligan's Island? I bet you they were. I bet you they were influenced by Gilligan's Island, and that's why Lost had these base characters. Gilligan, Dennis, I know you hate to think about it, but Gilligan is no different than Jack. They're the same animal. They're doing stupid shit and getting in trouble for it. And trying to play leader when they're not. And the skipper, who could be the leader, kind of did, but then stepped down. Kate was smart. She did, then she inserted ideas, but then walked away from it, like the skipper did. But people listened to Locke. They followed Locke. Remember the professor? People followed the professor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people definitely followed Locke.
So you got three similar comparisons here. And who gives a shit anyway? But you know what? Those three kind of mask. It's very similar.
Well, never know.
Could the wealthy man be what's-her-face's father? The guy in the boat? Thurston Howell. What was his name?
Jim Backus?
No. The guy on Lost who had all the money. The father. The time-traveling guy's girlfriend's father.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Can't think about his name. His name totally escapes me.
That could have been the Thurston Howell.
Could have been. He did have all the money.
Grabbing at straws here, big time.
Yeah. Lost was a strange show.
Gilligan's Island was a strange show.
It's true.
I need a drink. Think about this for a minute. Gilligan's Island and Lost. Very, very similar. Not the same, but similar.
And yeah, there are some similarities between the two. Of course, not everybody listening might have watched Lost. I was addicted to it. Sat down and watched it every single day on Netflix. Didn't want to miss an episode.
Makes a lot of sense, because if you think about it, I had to grab another beer for this philosophy, because this philosophy is getting too deep for me. If you really think about it, the two are not that different.
Just more people around us all.
Well, and then the bullshit ending for Lost. Everybody's dead. Listen, that doesn't make any sense to me. I never saw it coming. I never associated it. It makes no sense, the ending.
Because they were in purgatory.
That show sucked.
Between heaven and hell.
That show sucked. The ending sucked. It was bullshit. The whole church thing at the end was nonsense. It was a stupid ending that, you know what they did? They wrote that off quick, because you know what? When they started the series, they didn't know what the ending was going to be. That's my theory. It's all bullshit. They never had an idea what the ending was going to be. They should have had the ending differently. Brings me back to Gilligan's Island.
Well, you see, Ben, though, wasn't involved in the ending and the church affair because he was permanently on the island.
Brings me back to Gilligan's Island. How did that end? I don't even remember. They went back to the island, but did they ever get back off it, or did they wind up back on the island again?
I don't remember.
They went back to the island, and that's how it ended. They were on the island, and they at that point they realized that's where they belonged, and they didn't try to get off anymore. That's how that series ended. So think about it. Is Lost any different than Gilligan's Island? It's the same shit.
No, it's not in a lot of ways. It's a lot of similarities.
It's not funny on Lost. We're not laughing. Gilligan's not dropping coconuts and wrestling with a monkey in a cave. But
Well, I laughed when they beat up Ben. I chuckled when Boone got wiped out in the airplane.
you got a better memory than me. I don't even remember any of that bullshit.
Yeah, remember Boone and Locke were off into the jungle,
That's right.
and they saw that airplane,
and it fell over, and
he had Boone climb up and get in it
that's right.
under the premise that the radio might work.
Right. And then he got killed.
And then the plane came down because it dropped out of the canopy, and Boone got all banged up, and Locke carried him back. Remember, Locke couldn't walk. He got to that area, and he couldn't walk anymore. It wasn't until after Boone got killed that he could begin to walk again, and he carried Boone back. But then he left him.
I guess the key should have been for me when a paralyzed man can walk and he lands on an island, they're probably not alive. I mean, I probably should have realized it.
And Rose no longer had cancer.
You know, I keep flashing back to that Kate. She was one piece of ass. Like, if I'm going to get stuck on an island, that's what I want to get stuck on the island with.
With Rose?
No, Kate.
Oh,
Forget
Kate.
Rose. Well, maybe Rose, too, because she was a nice lady. But that's it. I'm not looking at her. And then Bernie. What a pain in the ass he was.
Well, Kate was a sinister manipulator. She and I would not get along.
Who cares? I would have got along with her fine. Look at, how can you not get along with her? I don't care what she does. She can manipulate me till the cows come home. Take a look at her. I'm on the island with Rose and Bernie. Do you think I give a shit what she's doing to me? We ain't going anywhere. What's she going to manipulate me? A couple coconuts? Maybe a papaya? Look at the trade, Dennis. Look at the exchange I'm getting for what that is. It's a win-win situation. Oh, can I sleep in your hut tonight? No. No.
I'll give you 2 bananas and a papaya.
Yeah. I'm getting that piece of ass for 2 papayas and a coconut? Come on. What do you mean we can get along with her? I'd get along with her all day long. I'd even tolerate her mouth. Listen, I could walk away from her. I could disappear.
Yeah, come back a week later.
I'll go drill a hole in a coconut tree and bang the hell out of that for an hour and come back. The whole thing is very, very bizarre that you bring it up, because now it's the correlation between the two shows is pretty similar.
Well, look at the Hurley character. Wins all that money, gets on that plane.
Who the hell's Hurley?
Hurley.
Who the fuck is that?
The big fat kid.
Oh, that piece of shit. I forgot all about that idiot. He has no connotation or correlation to Gilligan's Island. He would be one. You know what he would be on Gilligan's Island? He'd be one of the ones that washed. He'd be like a visitor.
I think the biggest thing that he complained about and lost was the fact that his bras got lost in the luggage out in the
Let me tell you
ocean.
one thing he didn't lose: weight.
You know, he put it on.
Either way you slice it, the ending sucked. Here's how it goes. I watched the show. I thought it was a great show. I had no problems with the show, the way it was directed. I thought well produced. I thought it was interesting, kept me lit. There was a couple down times, but something would jump in to keep you interested, right? And then you get to the end, and it's like, this is a complete fuck me. It's like, I've been watching this for all this time, and you're going to jerk me off like that? It's like walking into a room with the hottest woman in the room, and the only thing you're going to get is a hand job. It's nonsense. It sucks. It's bullshit. It was a stroke off ending. It was garbage. It didn't make any sense. It never led to the fact that that was going to be the ending. I guess I should have been more intelligent. I wasn't watching it for the intelligence. Matter of fact, half of it I was just watching for Kate, to be honest with you. The episode she wasn't in, I can give a shit less about. That's probably why I lost track of everything.
Well, and Kate was bouncing back and forth between Jack and Sawyer.
As long as she was bouncing, I was watching. Let's just put it that way. There wasn't anything that woman could do could make me hate her. Gorgeous, in my opinion. You could trap me on any island. I don't even care if I'm dead. Just put her there.
The Latino gal wasn't bad looking.
That cop bitch? Nah. I like Spanish women, but
she had pretty eyes.
She had a pretty big mouth, too.
Yeah.
Listen, I like Spanish women. They're the most gorgeous women in the world. But you know what? Kate and that one on the island, Kate all day long. She was absolutely gorgeous. And she was a little bit dark. But where are you going to find the perfect person? If I had to be trapped on the island, you know, hey, listen, you could have wound up on the island with dudes. Could have been all dudes.
They definitely needed an actual professor person there to make douchebags out of coconuts and tubing or something.
Well, that was John Locke. He figured all that out. He was a douchebag expert. He was able to make douchebags. Hey, John, who's going to run douchebags on the island? I will. Me. You know what? It's a correlation that we made, but people are going, what do they care? Who gives a shit? It's a TV show. It's not real life.
And that's a true fact.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it interesting.
Yeah. Made it interesting for a couple minutes to talk about it.
I always try to figure about Sanford and Son. Where's the reality in that one? I love the show. Red Fox is awesome. But you know what? There's no reality there. The whole house is filled with junk. What junkyard do you go to where the junk spills over into the house, and that's all they do is junk?
I didn't watch it that often. Once in a great while.
Are you kidding me? It's like Good Times. I was glued to the TV. JJ Dynamite! Like all that kind of stuff.
I think that was on at the same time Star Trek was running, and I watched Star Trek.
No way. Star Trek didn't attract me in a minute. I liked Star Wars, but Star Trek was boring. Jim. And it's like, Captain Kirk. How can you follow that guy? I have an idea. Like, he was all over the place. I heard a lot of bad stuff. He was on, I won't say where, but he was on he was on Howard Stern recently. Like, the rumor was that he was making out with women. Like, in the show.
What?
He was making out with chicks, like, in the show.
Oh, wouldn't doubt that.
I'm going to take advantage of you.
Well, I've read that he was the only cast member that didn't know the guy that played Sulu was gay.
Oh, George Takei. I like George Takei. He's good.
Yeah, and but there was a lot of conflict during. That was said the other day. They don't like each other. George didn't invite him to his wedding. I mean, wedding, whatever. But you know, it was like, I don't like William. They didn't get along at all.
Did Dr. Spock get along with him? I don't think they got along either. I think Nimoy thought
they got along professionally when the cameras were running.
I think he thought Kirk was an asshole.
Well, I think I think Shatner is an asshole.
No, I like Shatner. I like his avant-garde music he does. You got to hear the music he does. It's pretty funny. He knows he's goofing. I think you got to bet. Hey, I'll tell you a little trivia question. Halloween, Michael Myers, the mask he wears, that mask, the mold for that mask.
Oh, it came from William Shatner.
It's a William Shatner Star Trek mask. They just dropped the coloring off of it and the eyebrows and everything. Well, they left the eyebrows. And they just use. And if you look at that mask, if you take a moment and look at that mask, you can see it's William Shatner's face. How sick is that? Why would they pick that? It's like, think about it. All right, we got to get a mask. It's got to be scary. It's going to be on a seriously cold-blooded killer who has no remorse for anything he does. We got to get a mask that connotates evil. They picked William Shatner's face.
Well, think about it. Maybe some producer-directors didn't care for William Shatner either, and they thought this would be the ultimate slam.
I wonder if... I guess he knows it. William Shatner has to know it.
Oh, yeah, he knows it.
He has to know it. You think William Shatner would come on 1 Hour of Parking and talk to us about it?
That'd be interesting.
Oh, you think it would be?
I do. But I'd want to get George on, too.
I think George would come on before William Shatner. Ooh, I'm silly. Dennis, I could never the trouble with tribbles. Like what? I don't like the whole thing when Nimoy.
Some of those shows were hokey.
Like, remember when Leonard Nimoy wound up like Spock wound up back in like the days of the Cowboys, like he was back there as a gunslinger and like it's as bad as Gilligan's Island. Like,
well, the Star Trek Next Generation were much better than the original Star Trek with Shatner.
Beam me up, Scotty. It's like, come on.
Well, but
totally
it was something new at the time. But like I said, Star Trek Generations, the Next Generation, was 100 times better than the original Star Trek. And George Picard, Jean-Luc Picard, actually, his character made that Star Trek The Next Generation work.
That bald-headed douche? No.
Shakespearean actor.
Rather have William Shatner, to be honest with you. Pompous ass with his middle finger. Not my thing.
Yeah, such a great guy that he had to do Priceline.com advertisements.
Well, he's done a lot of stuff. I remember something. He was T.J. Hooker. Remember that? The TV show T.J. Hooker. He was a Los Angeles cop. People don't remember that show.
I never saw it.
Oh, he had that hot, what's her name? Heather Locklear or Heather Thomas? He had her as his partner. I wonder how that went. With the bad hair. Oh, man, that was 80s. If you look up T.J. Hooker, you'll see it was that guy that looked like Ralph Macchio. What the hell's his name? It was William Shatner, Heather Locklear or Heather Thomas was his partner. That was totally bogus. What kind of broad that looks like that's going to be a cop?
Heather Locklear.
Yeah. Oh, she was hot.
Huh.
Yeah.
Never saw the show.
You never saw T.J. Hooker?
No.
Oh, my God, Dennis. That was an awesome setup. Well, the only thing I watched it for was Heather Locklear. I can't believe you never saw that before.
No.
You didn't watch a lot
I just saw the deal with him in uniform, the pitch. Is something I would have remembered. I never saw it.
You didn't watch a lot of TV, did you?
Actually, no.
Really? I would have thought you would have watched that.
Well, you can see that was 82, 86. I came out here in 82. I was busy doing other things than watching television.
Yeah, but T.J. Hooker was a pretty big show at that time.
I was picking up gold ore along the old railroad tracks.
I thought you were going to say picking up something else. You figure that was what, 20 years ago? 20-something, 25?
33 years, 32 years ago.
32 years ago, T.J. Hooker?
1982.
Oh, my God. How old is William Shatner?
I don't know. Well, I'll find out.
Good God, I just thought about it. He's got to be pretty
Born
old.
in 1931. 83 years old.
He doesn't look bad and sound bad for that old. I'll tell you right now. TJ Hooker theme. You can tell that's the 80s. All mood synthesizer in there. Dennis, you should see, if you can get a chance to Google or YouTube, go ahead and I'll do it for you, but you got to watch it. You ought to see the intro for that show with him with the gun, with the hairdo hanging over the car. Oh, it's classic. Oh, you would love it. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I'm looking. Hold on. It might be tough.
He played in a show called Who's Your Daddy?
Here it is. Here's the actual. Well, it's going to give me a freaking ad. Hold on. Let me get rid of the ad. Fucking YouTube. Here's the actual show. If it ever plays. Did you hear it? Hold on. Oh, you gotta YouTube this, Dennis. He runs down in the beginning with the hairdo. All synthesizer and that's enough of that nonsense. TJ Hooker.
Well, I tell you one thing. He played the right part in Third Rock from the Sun.
I didn't see that.
He played the big giant head.
Oh, you know when he was really good? He played on that show with James Spader. They were both lawyers. He was excellent in that. That was... there's Heather Locklear. Man, what a piece of ass she was.
He played on Columbo, too.
No, well, he was good in Columbo. I saw that. There was... what was that show? It was James Spader and William Shatner.
Little Women?
No. They weren't Little Women. Oh, it was a great show. I'm
Police
surprised.
Woman?
No, Boston Legal. That was an awesome show. You got to watch some of those episodes with Shatner. He was a philandering. He ran the agency. He was the head lawyer, and smoked cigars all the time and drank. Oh, he was excellent in that.
He was in The Defenders, too.
I like William Shatner.
In fact, he was on The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I don't remember that. I used to watch that all the time.
You're going into a realm I don't understand. I don't know anything about that old shit. See,
He was
you
on
watched
3 shows of the Kaiser Aluminum Hour back in 56, 57. And he was on Howdy Doody in 1954.
Well, he's probably a kid. Oh, no, he was born in 30. He was in his 20s. The hell's he doing on Howdy Doody when he was in his 20s?
They needed a fucking dummy.
Would he sit in his lap?
Yeah.
The Shatner ventriloquist dummy.
With Ranger Bob had his hand up his ass, moving his mouth.
Ranger Bob. Sounds like Captain Kangaroo.
I really just don't care for William Shatner at all.
Well, I like William Shatner.
I can see why George didn't get along with him. Well, and that's one of the things that he said, that Shatner was a pompous ass.
Well, Nimoy didn't get along with him either, apparently.
And Shatner was constantly pitching a bitch during the Star Trek series about changing stuff. And he wanted to make sure that the camera shots were just right, that he was in just about every shot there was.
And you know what? He's probably not the same anymore, Dennis. He's in his 80s. You know, he was a kid. Not a kid, but he was... Well, I don't even know when...
He was a prima donna.
He probably still is.
Of course, he isn't so much now, but for a while there, he got pretty puffy in the face.
Something happened when his wife died or something. There was some kind of weird thing. She drowned or something. That was weird, too. She drowned in a pool in the yard.
Probably trying to get away from him.
Well, they never figured that one out. They said he wasn't there, but then they blamed him, and then... I don't know. It's TV. Hollywood.
Yeah.
He was in the movie Wrath of Khan, though. They did a movie for Star Trek.
Well, yes. That's...
Dennis, guess who else was in that movie? Guess who was Khan? We're tying this...
Ricardo Montalban.
Ricardo Montalban was Khan. Welcome to Fantasy Island. I'm Khan. The only thing missing from this equation would have been Bob Denver into Wrath of Khan. Everyone, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's fucking Gilligan. And that brings us back tenfold. I enjoy it. I really like it. But I'm tired. So, fuck it. I think we said enough. What are you looking at, Dennis? You're looking at something.
Well, yeah, I was looking at Howdy Doody. He played Ranger Bob in 1954, William Shatner.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I wasn't joking. Gabby Hayes was on there in 56.
Ranger Bob.
Yeah, he only did, well, it says unknown episodes. So
Ranger Bob.
People just didn't like Ranger Bob.
Ranger Bob was an asshole. All right, so I've had enough.
Good for him.
I've had enough. I'm going to close this with a appropriate theme. Folks, if you're listening, you've made no sense of this, and neither did I. It doesn't make any sense. It's 1 hour parking, and my car's about to be towed. Get the hell out of here.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. The ship set ground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle, with Gilligan, the skipper too, a millionaire and his wife, a movie star, the professor and Mary Ann, here on Gilligan's Isle. So this is the tale of our castaways. They're here for a long, long time. They'll have to make the best of things. It's an uphill climb. The first mate and his skipper too will do their very best to make the others comfortable in a tropic island nest. No phone, no light, no motor cars, not a single luxury. Like Robinson Crusoe, it's primitive as can be. Join us here each week, my friends. You're sure to get a smile from 7 stranded cast.